The lights are on, the stage is set to find out who are going to be the 8 drivers moving on to the round of 8-3 playoff action here for the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series Season 3. Who can get the championship? We'll find out. One driver is already locked into the round of 8, that being Kyle McCoy, winning at Atlanta last week, and now we're here at Bristol. Short track racing, and there's already a couple of short tempers that are building throughout the whole entire year. But again, we are getting prepared for the playoffs to continue to the next round. But first, we got to get by Bristol. 200 laps here tonight. The drivers under practice currently, getting a little bit of a taste of how difficult this track is. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall and Robert Moyer running productions here tonight. Zach, Bristol, we've got a total of about 27 drivers that are logged in, ready to attack this course. And there's 4 drivers that are outside looking in coming into tonight's race, that being Chris Wade, Derek Offerman, Andrew Medlin, and Ken Campbell, that need to have a fantastic night tonight if they want to move on to the next round.
Oh, and what a place they would need to have it at here at Bristol. This is going to be one of those nights a lot of guys are going to be worrying about how their finish is going to outcome here, because we've seen it here before multiple times. You're never safe at this place here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll see which 7 drivers can lock themselves in here after the checker flag here tonight with Kyle McCoy. But McCoy is really the only driver that's feeling, completely safe. I know a few guys out there like Travis Butt and Nick Holland, they're feeling probably in a good position too. But man, I'm telling you, guys like Scott Rickard there in the 5th position there in points, 32 back from our leader, but he's only 23 up from that cut line. I mean, something major happens there for him, he could be out of this, and he's been one of our major factors this season. Nobody's safe here tonight, definitely, Sam.
Absolutely not. And, I was looking at the notes, how the numbers were tacking up, and based on the amount of drivers that have shown up here so far tonight's race, looking like just by starting the race, Travis Butt and Nick Holland are the 2 drivers that can automatically lock themselves in after just starting the first lap. What a relief that would be, knowing if we don't get up to around, I believe we need about 32 drivers to show up. Otherwise, the 00 as well as the 68 will be locked into the next round, leaving only 5 positions open on who can make it to the round of 8 next week. And next week, the pressure just keeps on building up, because each round is only 2 races, Darlington and Auto Club for the round of 8. Still 2 very tough tracks before we get to Homestead for our final race of the season, where 4 drivers who are locked in get to just race out and see who has the best finish as practice is coming to a close. Zach, qualifying about to get started. We know here short track racing, it is very important to get that great track position early.
Oh, this place is number 1 up there, I would say, alongside Martinsville with track position needs. This place, if you get yourself qualified back there in the 15th to 20th range, you're just sitting there waiting for something to happen that you'll have nowhere to go. It's just this track clogs up so fast, such a small racetrack. You run people down in an incident in less than a couple seconds, and you have to react perfectly. So qualifying is going to be one of the most crucial things. One thing I want to see here in qualifying is where they're running. Are we going to see the bottom lane be the quickest, the middle lane, or the top lane? So they're going to have a lot of choices here, because I think when this race starts, that's going to be a kind of a determiner of where these guys are going to be.
As we're seeing drivers hitting the course, the 44, Kyle Boyling coming in. Boyling's going to be in 4th place currently, and with himself being in 4th, having a 30-point advantage over that of Chris Wade, who's in 9th in points. And I was looking at the point system, Zach, drivers up front, if you get a win, you're locked in. 2nd place, 55 points for 2nd position without bonus points being added. 3rd place getting 53, then it's 51, then it's 49 for 5th place, and it just continues to drop down by 2 points until we get into, I believe, 29th, 15th position, where it's 29 points and then drops down by 1. So the points very going to be tough for drivers to gain and lose. It is going to be a wild card on where you lie. Most drivers, their goal, a top 10 finish here tonight.
Yeah, I think that'll be what you want mostly, is just to be consistent. Don't worry about the points too much. You bring up all those numbers, you try to start adding it up in your head. Where's this guy at? Where's this guy on the racetrack? I think that's not a thing to do. Offerman there, big wreck here in qualifying on the bottom. Not a thing to do, though, in my opinion, to worry about those points too much. You got to go out there and race this racetrack, pay attention to what's around you, and let your race play out the way it's going to play out. It's not going to be helpful to be stressing yourself out, trying to calculate what points gap you need to build up.
Well, I touched on points without bonus points. Bonus points that can be gained here tonight. 1 point for leading a lap, 3 points for the driver that leads the most lap. And Zach, 2 points go to the driver that gets pole position. And currently it's Travis Butt, top of the board.
Well, Travis, he was one of those drivers we talked about had to just start this race to feel like he was locked in. Those 2 points will help too there if he can continue to hold on that. We'll see if anybody can take it away from him. But Dylan Glass there, one of our non-playoff guys, he's right up there in the mix too. Maybe he can play a spooler in tonight's race. But Kyle McCoy, winner from last week, up to 3rd. Timmy McNally, look, he's got a good qualifying time there. He needs to have an amazing race tonight to get himself into those top 8 positions.
As we're watching and seeing Nick Holland hitting the course, and seeing all the drivers trying to show up for tonight's race, you know the pressure is on for some that are outside looking in. We've already threw out those 4 drivers: Chris Wade, Derek Offerman, Andrew Medlin, and Ken Campbell. And looking back from last week, Andrew Medlin, Ken Campbell both missed out at Atlanta. For Ken Campbell, having computer issues. For Andrew Medlin, he was actually moving that day. So both drivers now coming into today's event, they probably have the most pressure on their table of anyone because they missed out on last week. They've got to get all of their points in just one race. Here is each round only 2 races, and that is so stressful for these drivers. And Zach, you've already raced in a system like this on Saturday nights for the NAISCC Cup Series. I mean, how hard is it knowing that you have to be perfect for 2 races?
It's one of the more tough things, when you have multiple races, you have chances to make mistakes and make up for those mistakes with consistency behind that. But with 2 races, you have 2 chances. That's the only time you're going to get it done. You have one bad race, and for these guys like Andrew Medlin and King Campbell, they couldn't make it to the race, so they didn't get no points at all. It wasn't even a bad race for them. It was a 0-point race for them. So at the end of the day, it just didn't work out for them. They got one race to get it done here tonight. Medlin can point himself in with his bonus points that he carried into these playoffs, but Ken Campbell there, he can technically, we figured out that he can get in by points. It's going to take a lot of different situations to play out for him. He's probably in a must-win scenario, most likely, though.
Yeah, I was trying to do the math and figuring out how could Ken Campbell mathematically get himself in, and he needs almost every factor and everything to go lucky for him to make it in. Most likely, I think, for Ken Campbell, he has to at least finish inside of the top 2, either finishing second or getting the win here tonight for any of the scenarios to make sense for Ken Campbell to point his way in or just lock himself in with a win. But the drivers running out of time as the time starts to dwindle away. Nick Holland, top of the board, the 68, getting those 2 bonus points, and Holland came in 3rd. And with the amount of drivers that showed up here tonight, that looks like with this bonus point, Nick Holland going to be locking himself in. And this is great for our top 3. Kyle McCoy has already locked himself in with the win last week. And with Travis Butt and Nick Holland both showing up here tonight, all they have to do is just run a lap and they'll move on to the next round as it's time to get the racing action started. Your starting results for the drivers here after qualifying: the pole position going to Nick Holland, Travis Butt in 2nd, with Dylan Glass in 3rd place. Kyle McCoy going to get 4th position, Timmy McNally in 5th, with that of Trey Jackson in 7th. Andrew Medlin, Scott Rickard's going to get 7th, 8th going to be going to that of Andrew Medlin. Ken Campbell in 9th, 10th place going to Derek Offerman. We'll send the rest of the top 20 to you, Zach.
11th, they're going to go to Mike Watts. 12th is going to be Christopher Wade. Bill Darts, they're going to start in the 77 machine 13th. 14th is going to go to Brian Lynch. 15th is going to be Nate Lynch. 16th is going to go to Kyle Bowling. 17th, John Dart. 18th position, there's George Kozlovic. 19th is going to be Brian Chu. And rounding out the top 20, there's going to be Travis Dart in the 209.
Then in 21st, got Patrick Hasty with that of Josh Warner in 22nd. Mike Lynch in 23rd. Aaron Hale going to be in 24th with Dylan Grimm in 25th. Our race control, that of Randy Cornwell, if he had started, would have been in 26th. 27th going to be that of Max Ward. Ryan Burchett in 28th. And finishing out, your 28 drivers are going to be starting here tonight, but going to be in 29th. It's going to be that of Jason Metcalf, who Metcalf surprised us with a very strong car last week at Atlanta, but he's got to work his way through all of the drivers in front of him. But no surprise, Nick Holland up front. The other short tracks we've ran this season, I think of Martinsville, in middle of Nick Holland's dominating to get middle part of this season when he went on a 3-race win streak. Martinsville's where Nick Holland found himself up front in those final 50 laps. Going to be starting up front here tonight. This is a great start for that of the 69, as well as the 00 of Travis Butt. Both drivers that really don't have a lot of pressure on themselves here right now.
No pressure indeed, Sam. They're already locked themselves in here with the start of this race now. They're going to feel very comfortable now to go out here and try to battle for a win. Same with Kyle McCoy there in that 2nd row there on the outside lane. We'll see if Dylan Glass there. That's my interesting thing there. There's that 16. He's up in position here. Non-playoff guy. Let's see what he can produce for tonight.
Yeah, Dylan Glass, he's shown some pace at some courses, then he falls off on others. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what Glass has to show off to all the playoff drivers that are going to be around him currently as we wait for the pace car to pull off. Nick Holland, Travis Butt, Dylan Glass, Kyle McCoy, and Timmy McNally going to be your top 5. And it's going to be one of those things here tonight where drivers have a lot of pressure on their hands. And right before we get things going, want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors. We'll talk more about them later on. For that of McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but they're your victories as well as ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Thank you to our 2 amazing sponsors here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If you'd like to come and sponsor Freaky Fast Broadcasting, please message us on all of our social media, as we are always willing to show all of our sponsors off here on the stream. Drivers are set up, they're lined up, stacked, ready to go. It's time to finish out the round of 12 to see who's moving on in the playoffs and who's going to be going home as the pace car pulls off. Bristol, the great last Coliseum. We're green, they're roaring. It's Nick Holland going to be going in turn number 1. Travis Butt already dropping down low, and our front 3 already in line. The action, it's going to be 6 on back, side by side.
Already dropping down to the low side now to third, 3 and 4 up the speed. They're going to get going up on the top. And look at that Glass around the top side. He's going to try to take second early to go in.
Already finding the speed on the outside. Dylan Glass already coming like a rocket ship from third up to second, and now on back bumper as they're going to be side by side for third. It's Kyle McCoy as well as now the newest locked-in driver, Travis Butt, battling for themselves with the driver, the number 12, Andrew Medlin. He's going to be back, stuck side by side with a wall in front of him, as it's Trey Jackson as well as Travis Butt side by side. And we're seeing a lot of side by side action up front. Zach as well for the lead. Dylan Glass trying to take that lead position.
That he is the 16, trying to get it done on the bottom lane. And, you know, they've brought an update here to Bristol in the last few weeks. It has really made this place pretty racy around both the top, the bottom, the middle, everywhere you can find grip. It's going to be interesting to see what's the dominant line as the run continues on, but Nick Holland trying to fight hard on the outside, Glass on the bottom, trying to make it work.
It's right now still side by side, and Glass is struggling to really make the pass. He's still staying there side by side, but Zach, right now it seems like it's pretty equal on where these drivers are running currently.
That it is there. He's going to slide up a little bit in the middle lane there, try to get the better run off there and use as much of the racetrack as Holland's going up to the third lane. Sometimes you can run that second lane to try to help your exit there, but Glass there using that very bottom trying to get the run. And you can see after a few laps, this outer lane should start to prevail. But I think as the long run goes on, we may see guys 30, 40 laps into a run want to prefer the bottom. It'll just be one of those things. Where do you feel like your car is best?
8 laps in, and Glass falling, a little bit of slip up there coming out of turn number 4, and now going to be giving it a shot for Kyle McCoy as we're riding on board with the 7. Kyle winning last week at Atlanta and trying to continue to win with his winning ways, getting his 3rd win last week and trying to get number 4. And right now, it's looking like we're seeing Nick Holland getting very close to the outside wall as the 7 doing the complete opposite, trying to almost get onto the apron through these corners.
Yeah, he's utilizing the bottom here, trying to get the run. And again, that top side just very early in this run seems to be the way to go, as Holland almost touched in the wall. That's actually going to check him up. That's going to give the 7 the lead there. He's going to clear, but the 68 there just sticks his nose in as we go into 3, but the 7 should have it here coming up 4.
And we're seeing drivers already further back. That seeing Andrew Medlin on the inside as we're seeing the backside of McCoy, and just seeing the whole entire lead group, this being our top 6, all grouped up, trying to move forward, but right now kind of stalling out where they lie, as we also fall back to 7th. See Ken Campbell, another one of those drivers that's in a must-win scenario. And that last lap, Ken Campbell running a slightly slower than our front 3, but just as fast as the drivers that are battling for that 4th place position of Trey Jackson, Medlin, and Rickard.
And here's back to Derek Offerman now here in the 9th position. He's behind Timmy McNally there. Both these drivers need good nights here if they want to make themselves into the playoffs. Behind that's Mike Watts, also in the same boat as the 20 and the 88. Really needs something to happen here tonight. But the 00 behind him with Travis Butt, he started 2nd, and he's already back here to the 11th position. He's getting passed from the outside for the 24, Brian Lynch. You know, we've seen this from the 00, and at least in the time I've been here, he's very conservative on these short runs. It seems like he's planning it out. If this thing goes long, we'll see if he can drive back up there.
not really trying to get himself into any type of situations. Travis Butt now being hunted by the 44 of that Kyle Boiling, and gotta say, Boiling, one of those drivers that's trying to just stay consistent. The 44 are currently fourth in points, trying to get by the 00, and looking at where the points lie for that of Kyle, all he needs to do is just make sure he finishes in the top 18 positions, and the 44 locked in going into the next round.
Yeah, Kyle was really strong last week there at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Was able to get some really good points to put him in that position here tonight to have, a comfortable night here at Bristol, and he'll be able to get himself through. He's been able to make a few good passes to get himself up to 13th from that 16th starting position. But we're having a lot of guys moving around. Really, one of the big movers I'm seeing is Jason Metcalf. He's definitely using them tires up. That thing is, he started 29th. He's up to 16th already.
And Jason did not qualify. Started all the way back in last place and has been just marching his way forward, up currently 11 positions and doing everything in his power to just keep pushing forward to get every single spot. And now getting by that of Chris Wade. Wade, the 53, a driver that really has, he's 9th place, so close to moving on to the next round. Just 3 points is the difference between that of Chris Wade and also the driver that's in 8th place, Timmy McNally, in points. But McNally up to 8th position, Wade back at 16. Needs to be finding his way forward, but still a very long race. We're only on lap 21 of 200. There's plenty of racing to go on from here on out.
Oh, definitely, yeah, that is for sure. We're going to have a lot of different scenarios playing out, a lot of different guys, falling to the wayside. If you can just keep this thing on track, be on the right strategy, and keep your nose clean here tonight. But now look back to the 11 of Brian Chu. He's been up 2 spots also there from the 19th position up to 17th now. So a lot of people going forward. The big one, again, going backwards is Travis Butt. He's right now trying to fight off Jason Metcalf. And the 35 is Metcalf's now going to take 14th from him. But Travis Butt, he just has been really committed to the bottom from what I've seen. I think he's definitely looking for the long run here as we look back here farther in the back.
We're now looking at 22nd position runner of the 209, that being of Travis Dart. And Dart's been running pretty well. That of Bill Dart also back here. But just in front of these drivers is the 23 of Dylan Grimm. And Grimm, I mean, this is interesting to see. Dylan, who won at the Indianapolis Oval course and found himself getting the win after a late lap pass. And this 23 came in probably one of the biggest underdogs of everyone that made the playoffs. I think as him as well as Mike Watts, drivers that we really weren't sure how they were going to compete in the playoffs, and both inside of our top 8 currently, with Grimm being in 9th place in points and running back here in 20th position. Not really the most secure place, but still has a decent buffer over that of Chris Wade, Offerman, Medlin, and all those, with having about 21 points over that of Chris Wade. So needs to gain just a couple of positions, but still keeping it close with the drivers that he needs to worry about.
Yeah, and I also think he's saying kind of what if, because last week, man, I'm telling you, he had some excellent pace last week. He still was able to bring home good points to make that a little bit of a more comfortable position than some of the guys right there on the edge. But man, he had a chance to have even better points and a better day to build that gap. So right now, I think he's saying, what if that could have happened? Because right now, not having the greatest start to the night, he went up 5 positions trying to take this spot from the 66 of John Dart. So he is moving forward. It's just going to be one of those things. Can he keep it together for the full race and get this 23 into a good spot to make his spot even more comfortable? As we got a caution.
Oh no, it's Travis Butt, and we're seeing this right in front of us, and the Butt, contact with Grimm as well. And oh no, the driver that we were noting on, who was falling back very quickly through the field early on in this race, Mr. Butt going to be under trouble as his engine is gone. It's smoking up, but luckily there is a fast repair. And for that of Travis, he already has enough points. He's good to move on to the next round as he's battling with Lynch on the outside, that being Brian Lynch. And we're seeing it here on our Freaky Fast broadcasting replay. The 24 into the outside wall comes down. The 00, just an innocent victim, being a ping pong ball bounced around and nowhere to go. And this is a very tough spot as you see more drivers. That's Brian Chu, who comes in late, and then Grimm, who was on the binders trying to slow down, but just an unlucky position for both the drivers late.
Yeah, we were literally just talking about a few of those guys, and man, Mr. Butt is going to have a long way to come back from that damage right there, but he'll have that fast repair as you see it get confused and that 00 put back to normal. But man, that was a good little run to start off this race, but that was just an unfortunate circumstance there, especially for the 00.
Oh, absolutely. And it's going to be bringing us into our first caution of the day. And I got to say, that is surprising. We went over 30 laps caution free on our first go. We were soon to be getting up to lap traffic, and our leaders getting up to that lap traffic, and a couple of drivers decided to come into pit road, getting service done. Going to be that of Travis Butt, Brian Chu, both going to be taking tires as well as fuel and their fast repair for Brian Chu, as well for Travis Butt. But we also have two other drivers coming into pit road, that of Derek Offerman and Patrick Hasty. Going to be getting service done, and tires for that of Derek Offerman, but just fuel for the 9 of Patrick Hasty. But Zach, early caution coming out. Surprised to see a couple of drivers taking the risk, taking tires and coming into pit road, especially for Derek Offerman, but he's 10th in points. Needs to kind of try something different if he wants to move on to the next round.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting call there for Derek, how this works out. Those tires, I mean, 4 sets we start here tonight. So Derek got the 1 set on the car, so 3 in the pits. He's now only down to 2. You know, this race is, got more than 160 laps to go in it. I mean, that's a tough position to be in. So we'll have to see how it works out for him. He's going to definitely be quicker here with that new rubber on the car. But just how far you're putting yourself back, and you're putting yourself back into probably more mayhem. We'll see how it works out for him, but a risky call nonetheless for the 20.
And drivers are getting the 1 to go signal as they're stacking up, getting ready to go. Your top 5 is going to be that of Nick Holland, Kyle McCoy, Dylan Glass, Trey Jackson, Scott Rickard going to be your top 5. And finishing out your top 10 going to be Andrew Medlin, Timmy McNally, Ken Campbell, as well as Mike Watts and Nate Lynch. As we're looking at all the drivers where they lie, a driver we really didn't take a lot of time to talk on, but we'll do a little bit of that throughout the night. Timmy McNally, that bubble driver in 8th place, comes in with 4 top 5s, 8 top 10s. Needs to be consistent here, but he's still in the middle group in 8th place. Zach, that is not the safest place to be on a restart, but there's really no safe place when you're here at Bristol.
No, there's not, that's for sure.
As the green flag waves, we are back to racing action, playoff racing action in turn number 1. Nick Holland, Kyle McCoy. McCoy, he was starting to close in on the 68, and now going to be pressuring for the lead up front to the inside into turn number 3.
Another big run from the 7 here. This is interesting on old tires here. Got a little bit of cooling down there on those restarts. Let's see who can use the warming up process here to their advantage. And McCoy going to almost clear for the lead. As you can see up front there, he's trying to get ahead of the 68. He will clear here off of 4.
Right on board with the 05, getting his point of view of seeing the pass for the lead. Kyle McCoy to the lead point, but he's not really fully secured. He's not defending the outside, and here comes Nick Holland. Now going to be ducking it low, trying to do a little bit of a slide job and move, but just isn't clear enough. And McCoy, huge launch on the front stretch and back to the lead position. And our top 6 all in line, and now they're open to get away from one another. Side-by-side action going to be heavily underfoot for 7th place, as Timmy McNally has a lot of trouble in trying to figure out how to get by that of Andrew Medlin, as well as has Ken Campbell behind him.
Yeah, we're going to ride here and check out this battle here, as I believe we're riding with Nate Lynch here in the 25 machine. He's directly behind that battle of Timmy McNally and Ken Campbell. You know, you talked about McNally just needing a solid run here tonight. He's having it, but man, Ken Campbell, he's got to go up here and get the best finish he possibly can. Same there with Medlin. There's so many drivers in this same boat that they need to get track position here early in the go, and that they're fighting so hard. This is some good racing though here at Bristol.
Hey, fighting hard, trying to get in every position you can. And, you know, what's great to see is it's the drivers that are at that bubble spot. I mean, Mike Watts as well as Timmy McNally, drivers that are 7th and 8th in points, and are, if they have a slip up, giving an opening for that of Chris Wade, Derek Offerman, they're outside looking into the top 8. They need to see that of the 88 and the 84 slipping up and making mistakes, but they're battling hard. And for that of Mike Watts, trying to figure out how to get into the top 10, as that of Timmy McNally now securely up to 6.
Great pass there for Timmy up past Medlin there now. He's going to be able to have that outer groove. And this is interesting to see how this is all worked out. You know, you normally don't get these scenarios where guys got to restart old tires. It brings everybody back together kind of in a more of a formed up pack to see who really used those tires in the first 30 laps. But man, from what I'm seeing, that outer lane still looking like the dominant lane. We'll see if the bottom comes together. But Kyle Boland, he's continued to go forward, and he had a little bit of a moment there between him and Ken Campbell almost.
Yeah, a little bit close from bumping off one another, and you don't want to get too roughed up, but it's short track racing. It's bound to happen that someone's going to slide into another driver, and they're going to continue to fight on. And I'm curious now for the drivers. You know, the caution came out around lap 30 laps of green flag racing happened. And coming into pit road, taking tires was Travis Butt and Derek Offerman. Travis Butt already locked in. Offerman comes in 10th in points, and I'm curious to see what that fresh tire is going to do. Well, right behind the 44, the 00 who's in 13th is moving his way forward. On the restart, was all the way back in 23rd position, now up 10 positions from where he was on that restart, and just behind him, the 20 as well, moving very quickly. Watch out for fresh tires.
Oh, yes, they are, Sam. They're like sharks on fresh blood here. They're going for it right now as the 00. He's already got used up in that one wreck. He's just going to say, man, I can't get that track position to get back there. He's trying to get to the front now. His Offerman also following him right through, right on the bottom as they continue to slice and dice through the field. I believe that's the 00 up to the left. Oh, contact to the 25.
More contact. And they're on the apron. That's off the racing surface. No yellow going to be thrown, but they're going to be forcing it 3 wide. That's Aaron Hale, as well as the 66 of John Dart, somehow holding on and moving forward. But the driver that got the worst of it, going to be the 25 of Nate Lynch, that has fallen back, was battling in the top 10, now back to 27, and we stay green after a very frisky moment. And Travis Butt is right back to trying to move forward up the pace, and here's another driver that had to use a fast repair, Dylan Grimm. Dylan Grimm did not have to use a fast repair. I'm going to take that back. Bill has a fast repair for the 23, but trying to move forward the best that he can, even with the contact with Travis Butt late in the first cautions, came out back on lap 31. And you could just see this track, yes, you can go 2-3 wide, but it's so narrow at times with the different driving lines you have to hit.
Yeah, that was just different speeds and different tires there. The 00 had so much more rolling speed through the center than the 25, and I'm sure Travis there didn't mean to do that, not at all, and just got right into the 25, sent him around. And like you said, Nate's going to be the one that has the worst end of that deal. His Butt is now already up to 8th position. He's only 5.5 seconds behind our leader, Kyle McCoy, who started to stretch it out there on Holland. So we'll see if he can continue his march forward here. If this thing stays green, he will be in a really good position because of these tires.
We're about already a quarter of the way through this race, and we're now going to actually take on board with the 20 of Derek Offerman and get a sense of what new tires are like, as Derek Offerman has been flying. And Zach, you can kind of touch us and talk through a couple of laps here at Bristol, but this course, it's so special. A half a mile is the length, and it's one of the fastest half a mile courses.
Oh, that's for sure. This thing it's like driving around, a roller coaster pretty much. You know, these high bank corners, you're just carrying so much speed. You know, normally in a half a mile like Martinsville, we go well below 100 mile an hour. Here early in the run, we're nowhere near 100 mile an hour. We're at 115, 120, and then down these straightaways, we hitting upwards of 140, 150 mile an hour. As you can see, Offerman with these new tires, you can't breathe for a moment. Things happen so fast. You almost forget on what side of the track you're on because you're just going around this place so fast, and they look almost very similar. So sometimes you're like, am I in 1 and 2? Am I in 3 or 4?
Yeah, I think the only thing that helps is when you see the flag stand. That is the only thing that really tells you what side of the track you're on, as we get to see that claustrophobic feeling when you are so fast, the closing rate of when you get so close to someone so fast, as Scott Rickard going to have just really no way of defending, but he's trying to hold off the 44 on the outside, kind of being a blocking wall for that of Derek Offerman. And as Offerman's trying to cut his way through this traffic, Travis Butt, who's on the same set of tires, is up to 3rd and trying to catch up to our front 2.
Man, oh man, Butt has just been on fire here, and McNally, he's taken the fourth position from Dylan Glass. So McNally, what a run he's having here tonight in that 88 machine, as he needs to have one of those. And oh, Glass going to come back to him though, but those new tires for Travis Butt really working right now. Right there, about 3/10 quicker than our leader. We'll see if he can continue his march forward. But Kyle McCoy, man, what a lead he stretched out though over Nick Holland, 2.3 seconds, and that 7 looking very strong here early in the going.
Yeah, and Tim McNally up to 4th, but we're now going to move up to that of our leader, Kyle McCoy, as he is actually starting to catch up to the tail end of the lead lap, and lap traffic is going to be a factor for that of the 7 to worry about, because yes, he's got a couple of drivers that are just, just one car after another, a little bit of spacing, but once he gets up to the 22nd position where Travis Dart is, that is when it gets very tricky on how to get by drivers, because you got a full pack of lap cars. This 7 is going to catch up to here probably the next 15 to 20 laps. But 15 to 20 laps, that ticks away in an instant. I mean, 3 laps are gone in just about a minute or so.
Yeah, I mean, you blink and it's over with, man. I mean, you could almost get 4 laps done in a minute here. It's pretty crazy how fast they click off, and right now he's getting by Nate Lynch. But like you said, Sam, up the road, about 2 or 3 seconds, that's where the real first pack of lap cars are. And the thing is, what I've seen from Kyle McCoy, at least, he's been on the run multiple lines when he gets to guys. He can go to the top, get around them at the run on the bottom. He can go to the bottom, make it roll down there, and get past them. And that is the key to getting around lap traffic. You cannot just be solo line here, because at some point you will run across someone that will be just as quick as you in your line, and you just can't get by him because you can't run the other line as quick.
As you can see on the left on your ticker, you can see the fact that 00 of Travis Butt has moved up to 2nd, and he's now less than 2 seconds back from Kyle McCoy. And it's looking like things are going to add up to when Kyle McCoy catches up to the tail end of the laps of the pack that he's about to come up to. That's when Travis Butt is also going to catch up to the 7, and we might be seeing a little bit of a chess match that comes around short track racing wise of trying to utilize the lap cars as a pick whenever you're trying to set the driver up. Hey, why don't you follow the lap cars so I can pass you? It's about to get real dicey up front here in just a couple of laps.
Yeah, that, like you said, Sam, the pick definitely becomes a factor once you start racing for the lead and for position. This is a perfect time to make passes on driver. Here you can see, here's Holland back here in the 3rd position after Butts got past him. Now, Offerman on those new tires. You see the 0020, they've used those to advantage, and they have drove through this field almost to the entirety. And man, it's working out for them right now, Sam. If this thing stays green again, like I said, and we can get some green flag stops in this race, they're going to be in a really good spot for this race.
Well, speaking of green flag pit stops, the fuel run about 90% that they're dealing with here tonight. So Zach, 90%, it's not a completely whole tank that, a regular NASCAR series would run, but how long can these drivers go with a 90% fuel tank here at Bristol?
Under green flag conditions, I'd say around 160 to 150 laps. So really, I'm thinking with that 90% fuel, we're still going to see around 140, possibly 135, somewhere in that range. So they can go for a while, and especially with those caution laps there, it's going to stretch it out a little bit more. We'll see who decides to hit pit road first, because it's such a risk here to pit. That's really the big thing. You go down here multiple laps if the caution comes out while you pit.
Well, we talked about you blink and you miss it. Well, Travis Butt just made the pass for the lead in a blink of an eye and is already caught up to the tail end of the lead, that lap pack that we were talking about. And Travis Butt is now got a mess in front of him. And Zach, this is when anxiety starts to hit the leader, because that run of clean air, it is now gone, and you're dealing with traffic from here on out.
Yeah, Travis, luckily, he's got the freshest tires, so it's going to help him still in this scenario. But like you said, the track is clogged up. You can see right here in front of him, 3 cars on the bottom. Where does he go? He goes to the inside of the 209. Let's see how he makes it work, but he's got to slow down, though, because now he's running up on the back of Ken Campbell here. Very much stacked up here. This isn't where it gets tough when you're at Bristol.
Ken Campbell, one of the drivers that is in a must-win scenario, and he's now in the danger of going a lap down. The 15, he'll continue to stay low, kind of the blocking, But this is that chess match that I was talking about. For that of Kyle McCoy, he's got a wall that's defending and not allowing the 7 to really go after the 00. They finally given space, but it is a mess here, as in the middle of all this madness, you got the battle for the lead, battle for the passes for 20th position. It is madness, and that's what Bristol, we love to see it, as now the leaders 1 and 2 on the inside, and Butt trying to figure out how to get going on the outside lane. I think he's finally found the pace, but not the positioning, as Ken Cable continuing to block and defend to make sure he's on the lead lap.
Oh, this is going to get spicy here. Already in the early going, 82 laps into Bristol, and this 00 here trying to lap Campbell. Campbell needs to stay on this lead lap, can't hold him off. There goes Travis Butt, but man, what patience did the 00 just show there? He was behind the 15 for so long. That is just grade A racecraft from that 00, not to get overzealous there and just try a not smart move. He waited, got by him, and now look at the gap already opening up as Kyle McCoy now having trouble getting around the 50.
Yeah, Kyle McCoy trying to get by Ken Campbell, and then in the middle of that pack, we just saw our front 2 get by. Derek Offerman now in the middle of that mess, and that's what we get to see here. It's just another pack that you have to go by. The next large group that Travis Butt is going to have to deal with is the drivers that are around 15th and 12th, and that's a mixture of about 8 drivers. What we saw our leaders just go through was only a pack of 5 or 6. When you get up to 8 to 10 drivers in a pack, and as a leader, you're at least 2/10 faster than them. It is so frustrating, and you need what you just noted on, patience to get through there and hope that you are focused at all times so you don't make a mistake, and the drivers around you don't make a mistake either.
Yeah, this is the classic Bristol Martinsville theme here. You get these big leads, you think you need to go drive out there, build your lead up, but all of a sudden you run into lap traffic and you say, that guy had a 2-3 second lead on. Why is he right behind me now? It's because he ran into lap traffic. So right here, oh, what a battle. 3 wide here off of 4. Whoa, man.
Battle for 8th back to 10th. That's what they were, 3 wide 4, and it's Dylan Glass, who was up to 2nd at one moment. Now back to 8th position, and watch out, they're not done yet. Mike Lynch, Trey Jackson, a little bit of bumping off one another. The 2 of Mike Lynch trying his best to hold on. It's going to be Trey Jackson on the outside doing his best, and this is the pack I'm talking about that our leader is soon to be catching up to in the next 10 to 15 laps, and they are trying to single file one another out. But you can tell they're willing to go 2 wide, 3 wide. You don't want to go 4 wide because there's going to be a wreck if you see that.
Oh, Travis Butt, he's got to be worried too as he's coming up on this now, because he doesn't have a fast repair. We got to remember that he was caught up in that incident, and that's going to set up some interesting things as these guys all battle, though. It's slowing them down so much. The leader is coming. This is about to get very, very wild for a few moments. Our camera may not move for a few moments because this is definitely the majority of the field right here.
Best battle on track. Again, this is the battling from 7th back to 14th position, and they are still just hounding off of one another. And you gotta love the aerial photos that we get to see of the drivers side by side. Dylan Glass at 8th spot leading this group, and then all the way back to that of Brian Chu, who just sees a wall of side-by-side racing in front of him, and it's hard to really pick and choose where you want to go. Mike Lynch, Trey Jackson still almost door banging at times, as here comes that of Lynch again. You just see the outside sometimes gets a good run, the inside does, and it's all about who can get back on the throttle sooner. And right now, more contact going to be made on the outside. Jackson into that of Glass, and here comes Butt. You were talking about it, Zach. At some point, he was going to have to catch up, and they're almost thinking about going 3 wide again with the leader behind them.
Oh, man, this is getting... Put the spicy emotes out there, because this is the time for it. Man, Travis Button's got to have a heart rate of at least 180 right now, because these drivers are all stacked up. We'll see if he uses that same patience, Sam. I think he will. Knowing anything about Travis, a school teacher, he's got to have a lot of patience, and he's showing it.
Oh, absolutely. And now you've got even more lap traffic. You've got the lead drivers that are on the lead lap trying not to go a lap down. And then you've also got the extremely slow car that's on the inside. That's going to be George Kovacic that's going to figure out where he wants to go. I would prefer the 65 just go on the apron, get out of here, but he's going to go completely slow. Chu's going to go to a complete stop, and that almost thought about going 3 wide. The 65, a roaming roadblock, and really just hindering this group from going anywhere.
This is all this right here is gonna come from just a lot of push to a lot of shove here in a moment, and that's when you're going to get an incident that could possibly cause some carnages. Oh, a couple cars up ahead of them, they're making contact. This is where all the action is. They call this the action track for a reason. It is all over the place here at this half mile.
Timmy McNally seems to be the driver that's ahead of this pack that might have been falling back, as you see the two, Mike Lynch, now moving forward. I think that's the best thing. Go forward, get away from this mess. He's got a pack of 3, but behind them, it's still Dylan Glass. They're now going to be going 3 wide once again, and drivers just not sure where to place themselves because these lap cars are so slow and don't know where to go. It's that of Jason Metcalf that's going to be the next lap car that's causing now a calamity on the outside. So the inside, outside, nowhere really safe to go, but somehow our leader of Travis Butt, the patience you talked about, he put it in, and now he got through that mess. Somehow he did the wizardry in the 00. He's now past this group, and he moves on to the next.
Well, if you want a class taught on how to get through lap traffic there, that's how you do it right there. Travis Butt, A+ for him there. He went right through those guys with a lot of patience, kept to the bottom. And one thing, I got to give a shout out to iRacing. What a job they've done to this racetrack to make it so much more racy. A couple builds ago, we would have seen just lying around the wall here. Nobody trying to explore that bottom. It's all over the place here at Bristol. Drivers making time everywhere.
I mean, this is one of those things where you're just surprised. We stayed on all of that action, on how madness it was, and now we're seeing back at that of Derek Offerman, a driver that comes in 10th in points, needs to make sure he is at least 10 positions ahead of that of Timmy McNally, and McNally currently in 9th. And I'm looking at where all the drivers are going. I mean, this is insane to look. Zach, we're already past halfway. We're on a lap 105 now of 200, and it feels like it just went away in an instant.
Yeah, Bristol, man, you know, this is an uncommon thing here to see this many green flag laps here. You know, we've had a past here where it's usually caution field, and with especially at a track like, you know, Bristol, where you just can't get away from each other. But I think with, you know, this update iRacing's brought, it's helped spread the racetrack out, really helping these guys able to, you know, race like they are. But man, just got to give credit to the drivers out there, because what a run we're having here, and it's just clicking by as we go.
And now we're seeing all the drivers. I mean, it's so hard to pick and choose where you want to see the action and where it is, because there's action everywhere. You've got lead lap drivers trying to get by lap traffic just trying not to be the cause of the wreck, as drivers coming into pit road getting service done, as Dylan Glass into pit road, one of the first drivers that's inside of the top 15 to decide to come into pit road. Behind him as well, it's going to be the driver that's in second place, Kyle McCoy, into pit road getting service done.
Well, this is a risky call, but he has nothing to lose. That is why I think this 7 can make this call. I think a lot of other drivers, they're going to be in a tougher spot than the 7 is. He's locked into his playoffs after the win last week, into that round of 8. He could go out here, do whatever he wants, race for the win. The rest of the drivers are going to have a little bit of feeling that, hey, man, I got to have, you know, something in the back of my mind here. If a caution does come out, I can't get trapped too many laps down, because it may take me out of that position. But also Travis Butt, he's not there. Offerman's the one I'm thinking of the most that has to do something here to really make sure he doesn't get caught out if a caution does come out with these pits.
5 drivers are on the lead lap currently, even with everyone coming to the pit road. Now it's going to be that of Mike Watson to pit road, leaving us with only 4 drivers left on the lead lap. And for that of Nick Holland, he can come in, and, you know, the drivers that have come in that were on the lead lap coming into pit road, they're drivers that really weren't in any scary situations. Following suit into pit road as well, going to be that of Mike Watts, as well as you can throw in that of Ken Campbell. Excuse me, I was wrong on that. That's going to be, sorry, I missed seeing some of the drivers, but Nick Holland, Mike Watts, as well as Max Ward have all come into pit road. Now it's going to be seeing the 44 coming into pit road of Kyle Boylan. It's just a madhouse of drivers coming in and out. In Zach, with there being 27 drivers on track, that means some drivers might not be all coming into pit road on the front stretch.
No, exactly right. Yeah, this is a split pit road here. You know, we got 2 pit roads that you got to go down. And at this track here, with the way it is, under green flag stops, you're only going down your side of the pit road. Under green flag scenarios, you're going down both pit roads. So, or under caution scenarios, you're going down pit roads. So, you know, it's kind of confusing. And like we said, it's kind of easy to lose your orientation of where you're at on the track here. So some guys can actually hit the wrong pit road, and that can be a major mistake here late into going. But I'm thinking about how this timing works out. You know, we got so many different guys out there on different strategies. Some guys on old tires still out there staying out. While a lot of drivers have pitted already, that's when you get these closing rates that are kind of, you know, scary. I think we could have an incident here at some point if, you know, it stays like this.
Oh, it is certainly mixing into a recipe of disaster that we are getting prepared for. I mean, we got to see, you know, Travis Butt, Derek Offerman, when they were racing around everyone else, they knew what pace they were going to be dealing with. The fact they had an extreme closing rate on everyone else, well, everyone else that felt like, hey, we're getting past, like, we're in molasses and going so slow, they're now the ones that are going crazy fast and are dealing with the extra speed of the extra grip. And you got to figure out where you want to place yourself. And that of seeing when the drivers came in pit road and those that have not so far, Kyle McCoy coming in so early is such an interesting thing because he came into pit road 10 laps ago, and looking at the time differences of the 7 to Travis Butt, the lap times almost a full second of difference. That means Kyle McCoy, each lap that goes by, he's adding on a full second onto where he was at. And when he came into pit road, he was about only three and a half seconds off of our leader when he came into pit road. So it's going to be interesting as carnage happening. Zach, what's going on?
McNally. Oh, McNally in the 88 goes around it. Oh, no, the 65 and McNally. That is going to bring out our caution. Major damage for to McNally there.
65, that of Kovacic. Lapped car, and this replay is going to be very interesting as you see Timmy McNally, the driver that was 8th in points, needed to just have a solid day of making sure he was at least 3 positions ahead of Chris Wade. Heavy damage, and you're going to be seeing it here. You see the 65 in pink on the outside, going to be the lap car, and coming down the back stretch, just, I think for McNally, he was expecting a little bit more space, and there just wasn't there, and from there on out, it was all about trying to save over corrects, and there goes his front bumper. And for everyone else around, just danger on where to go.
And this is what everybody feared, Sam. The caution to come out. And look at this. Look how many drivers are lapped down. We have 2 drivers on the lead lap, Derek Offerman and Travis Butt. We're going to have a slew of drivers here taking the wave around.
And Derek Offerman is still out on track. So there is a chance that we still might be seeing more drivers not able to take a wave around if the 20 decides to not to come into pit row.
I think
he's coming in. He's coming in. All right, this is going to give some drivers that already came in a shot to at least get one of their 2 laps back, because most of the drivers that came into pit road all were basically 2 laps down. Yeah, I mean, Zach, this is kind of a worst-case scenario for all those drivers that came into pit road and were banking on this race to stay green all the way to the end.
Yeah, you know, that's just Bristol for you right there. You can never really bank on this place staying green. It's a caution waiting to happen, and just that recipe, like you said, Sam, of, you know, guys on new tires, guys on old tires, lap cars doing different things. You know, there was so many different agendas going on there that sooner or later something was going to happen. If it did stay green, it was going to be nice for him because, like you alluded to before that caution came out, they were a second faster than our leader, Travis Butt, there. And, you know, if you run a second faster for 15 laps here at Bristol, you're going to be a lap ahead of them. So you can really make up a lot of time here on those newer tires. But now, with this caution, it's nullified all that. You're going to have to take the wave around, and you're going to have to start on the old tires. So you may be going a lap down pretty quickly.
And Zach, Tim McNally has not left his pit box just yet. The 88 still in pit road, currently 3 laps down, now going to be 4 laps down. For Timmy McNally, this now gives Chris Wade a shot to be moving on to the next round. But for that to happen, he's got to make sure he stays in front of Derek Offerman by at least 6 positions. But Wade currently in 6th and 7th position, bouncing back and forth. Offerman in the lead currently. This certainly is getting spicy.
That it is, Sam. I tell you what, you know, McNally, you gotta feel for him there, going from 3rd all the way back now, 3 laps down in the 24th position. That is just a heartbreaking. Now dropping another spot, so yeah, he's going multiple laps down here. So may even be 5 down now at this point. McNally is getting into a zone where it's almost getting out of touch with how many laps you're going.
This is not looking good, and with the amount of drivers that are a lap down in front of the 88, it is not looking like he's going to be any of those laps back. We're actually going to be going in extending at least one more caution lap to help these drivers get in line as they are all trying to race around, catch up to the leader, and also catch up to the pace car. And so as we're going to be taking a couple of more extra laps to make sure everyone's caught up, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will be back to finish out the rest of the playoff action for round number 12 and see who will be moving on to the round of 8. We will be right back here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. As big thanks to all the amazing sponsors we have for ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. If you want to get yourself a Gamer 2 from ButtKicker, use the promo code FreakyFast20. That's Freaky with 2 E's, FreakyFast20, to get yourself 20% off of your Gamer 2 from ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. As Zach, we got to see a little bit of a feeling of how these drivers did not want to get a restart, as that was a parking lot that they just had to deal with.
Yeah, we just got to see a definite parking lot there. I mean, even the leaders coming back around here for this incident is we're going to see exactly what happened here, Sam, to bring out our caution. I think it started around the 35 of Jason Metcalf there, but it was not the greatest looking scenario here. You can see there's a 35 losing it up there, and now we're going to see everything transpiring. Oh, man, just a tough situation. There's McCoy hard into the wall. He led early, and Sam, that is a parking lot if I've ever seen one.
And with the timing of the caution and the drivers that were involved before they went green, Timmy McNally has called it a day and a DNF for the 88 team. the next driver that is DNF'd from this madness. The 84 of that of Mike Watts, the driver of 8th and 7th in points coming into today's race. They are out of it. They're only getting 27 and 26 points. So those two spots are wide open for Chris Wade, Derek Offerman, Andrew Medlin, and Ken Campbell. Campbell has a shot to possibly point himself in.
Yeah, this just changed the whole scenario. You know, we talked about all the scenarios Ken Campbell needed for this to work out for him where he could point himself in. It's starting to be like that. The only problem for him right now is he's stuck back in that 21st position, 2 laps down. But I tell you what, we got a long way to go here in Bristol, even though, you know, we've seen how fast the laps kick off very quickly. If you get cautions, though, a lot of things can transpire in one wreck there involving majority of the field. Get another one like that, a few guys may be knocked out ahead of you.
Oh, it's everything is thrown into a blender, mixed up, and we don't know what is now we're being served, because we thought, hey, this is all that of Travis Butt's race. This is maybe going to be all Kyle McCoy's race. Well, both those drivers, 8th and 9th place. It's Derek Offerman who came in, had to work his way, and was 10th in points, leading this race with Chris Wade behind him. The drivers that were 9th and 8th position coming into today needed those drivers that were inside of the top 8 in points coming into the night to have a little bit of a slip up, and that's exactly what they did. Derek Offerman, wow, what a showing here.
Yeah, this is exactly what he needed. Qualified on pole last week, Sam, and just had a little mistake to start the race and was really quick. And took himself out, but we'll see what he can do here as we get ready to go back.
And we are green, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Offerman, that of Chris Wade, going to be up front. And it's Brian Chu as well up there. And drivers that we were talking about battling for 15th place, they're now having a shot to possibly win here tonight.
What a scene here. As, oh man, who was that there? I think that was the 11. Oh, and they're wrecking again here to push away.
They're wrecking, they're scattering, but we somehow, and there finally is the yellow. And it's more playoff drivers that are mixed into this thing. What is going on, Zach?
Hi, Sam, this is Bristol. Do we have a full moon here? We're going to check in this here at some point, because it is clearly, you know, I just don't understand. This race has been flipped on top of its head. We had such a long green run. Now we're having carnage.
Now Kyle, that came in 4th in points. For Kyle, he had to make sure he was at least 30 points ahead of Chris Wade, at least 37 points ahead of Derek Offerman. Now we're going to have to deal with damages to see the replay of what happened here. And as well, I mean, we just had 8th and 7th in points, just DNF here. Well, we just saw Dylan Grimm, the DoorDash machine. He's 6th in points now, having issues.
It is opening the door wide open for drivers right now, Sam. This is, you know, the time where they're starting to say, man, this may be my chance. I just need to get the best position I can, survive to the end, because we still got almost 60 laps to go. We're just under that point now. I mean, there's a lot that can still happen in this. I mean, like you said, look at the people up front. I mean, they're in positions right now to get, you know, possibly their first win of this season. This is what Bristol does for you when it's a cutoff race. Anything is possible.
Anything at all. And now looking at Dylan Grimm, he's going to have to, oh my goodness, Grimm's going to be all the way back, having to deal with his issues. The 44 now coming to the pit road. Kyle Boyling, and we already had a lot of drivers that had to use their fast repairs before this incident, and now they've got to worry about the issues of can their car even survive to the end of the race.
Yeah, this is a race of attrition, that's for sure. You know, when you come to Bristol, you always think, I just need to survive this place, and then, you know, you get that long green flag run, and you're like, oh man, this is really fun here. You know, this ain't going too bad. Everybody's having a great day, and then the storm clouds come out at Bristol, and you never know when it can happen. No, like we said earlier in the broadcast, every time we come here, you're never safe at any point on this racetrack. And right there just showed, you know, with 2 incidents, at any point you could be collected up into something just riding along.
Dylan Grimm not going to be in 21st position, extremely slow. And Zach, for the drivers that have already used their fast repairs involved in this incident, and They're now dealing with the car that they have on track that might be heavily damaged. How difficult is it if you've got some front end damage and you're low on power to make sure that your engine does not blow up? Because that might be something for some of these drivers that are back in points that they're going to be worrying about here.
Well, they're going to have to watch a few things, Sam. They're definitely going to have to watch that water temp and the oil temp. And, you know, that's one thing you're going to have to worry about, the front end damage. Sometimes you can damage the cooling there on your engine, and you're going to have major issues at that point because we turn such high RPM here at this racetrack, and it's such sustained RPM. So, you know, it's really tough on the engine here, first of all, but when you get that cooling issue, you're going to have major issues there. And then, like you said, down on power, you're going to have a tough day there because you're going to feel like a Superman in the corners because of that less power. But on the straightaways, you're going to get your door blown off, and it's just going to be a frustrating situation to deal with all night. Got to keep your head on straight, though, because anything can play out, though, as we see with this attrition race style here we have.
Our biggest movers of the night, Patrick Hastings in third position, Mike Lynch in fourth, he's up 17, and Aaron Hale up 19 positions. Drivers that didn't qualify now having a shot to win here tonight. It's Derek Offerman, Chris Wade, Mike Lynch, Patrick Hastings, and Aaron Hale, your top five, with Trey Jackson and Colin, Dylan Glass, as well as Kyle McCoy and Travis Butt finishing out your top 10 as they're coming out of turn number 4. All this side-by-side action is from 6th on back, and it's a madhouse on who can even get moving forward.
Aaron Hale there in the Ford machine. He's trying to work the bottom. He's the first car there leading it. He's on the inside of Trey Jackson at 31 machine. Glass. Oh, and I think the 24 is in here. Oh, man, I think the 24 of, I believe that was Brian Lynch. They're going around. He's going to save it. We're going to stay green flag here as the 4, Aaron Hale. Man, oh, man, what a job by him there to try to get it done, but he just can't as the outside line prevailing here as we continue on with McCoy. That damaged race car getting that position.
Madness. We're now going to be bringing in Robert Moyer. I've got to step away for a quick second, even with the great racing that's going on. Robert, welcome to the booth. It's going to be Zach and Robert to the end of the show.
All right. Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you. Hopefully everybody out there is joining the show here tonight with the Stars and Stripes here. And we'll get back to the action, man. Zach, man, this is just all over. Had a long green flag run there for a while, and then carnage, like you guys said. But it's starting to look like guys are starting to try to get it a little settled out there.
Yes, they definitely are here. Robert is, we had that carnage, and now it seems like the front 10 or so is very much just single filed out. Is back to Travis Button, the 00, the 44, Kyle Bowling there. They're battling back here from the 10th position along with Aaron Hale. It's been a real fun battle here. So they're trying to sort this out. You know, we've seen how fast laps can click off here. We'll have to see if that's how it plays out down to the end here. But now, Bowling passed him, so Button past Hale. So, man, drivers making big positions here late in the going. Under 50 to go. Offerman, though, out front.
Offerman's going to be the leader right now with 152 laps in the books here over Christopher Wade there in the 52. And just looking at the top 4 here, I mean, these are drivers that, you know, have good runs at certain track stacks, but we don't talk about them too much. And it's awesome to see Wade, Hastings, you know, and Lynch all up here, the 9 and the 2, up here running in the top 4. So, you know, they might be able to come away and be a spoiler and take a win here from one of these playoff drivers, because it's getting down to the nitty-gritty where every position is going to start counting, and you got to, hopefully, like you said at the beginning of the broadcast there, Zach, that these guys ain't adding numbers up in their head going, well, I got to get by that guy. I got to do this. Oh, no, I'm this lap down. I'm that. You know what I mean? You got to race the race yet.
Yeah, definitely so, Robert. You got to race the racetrack. It's just one of those things where if you start calculating numbers this late in the going, I think your head's just going to spin. As you see Kyle McCoy there, he's trying to rebound from those incidents and the way the strategy's all played out. He's been one of the quickest drivers all night in that 7 machine. He's working the inside of that 31. And Jackson, inside lane hasn't came in yet, as looks like he almost gets it done, but Holland now going to be going to the outside. That's going to be a tough spot for the 7 here as we continue to go. Offerman starting to pull a little bit of a couple car links on Christopher Wade, but those two out front very, very much need good nights, as it's opened the door with so many drivers having incidents here tonight for these playoffs. I can only imagine what the points are going to be after this race ends, Robert. It's going to be so close for those few positions to get in.
Yeah, I mean, I got a funny feeling, Zach, like you were saying. I think the point system is going to be, you know, 1 point here, 1 point there, things like that. That's where I'm looking at here, and we'll find out at the end of the race exactly where what's going on, and be able to give everybody that information as of next week once we know where the playoffs are.
Yeah, definitely going to be there next week as we got Auto Club in Darlington coming up in those next 2 rounds. Those races going to be fun to see how they play out. Also, as very tough racetracks. And, right there, the first one at Darlington next week, you got back-to-back just races of straight grueling energy. And I cannot wait to see for that next week at Darlington. And then the Auto Club Speedway, that's going to be a fun one also, as tonight continues to click away here. Offerman starting to hold that position better and better as McCoy, he's up to 4th now as he's gotten past the 2 of Mike Lynch and the 31 Trey Jackson. He's starting to go forward. Can McCoy get that 2nd win of this round to solidify again? Man, is he the guy to beat? Maybe this is a very interesting situation here. As we're having a few guys having some pretty not the greatest runs for him. So here to see McCoy again shining. He's starting to show that maybe he's the driver to watch out for this season.
Yeah, even with the damaged car, and we're at Bristol, so we don't have to worry about damage too much, it looks like, because you got Hollins there. It's got a pretty good, clean-looking car right now. So, but damage-wise, though, Zach, I'm just watching these guys go around the track, and as Hollins gets into the wall there, saves it a little bit. Just a little bit of nick scratch there on the right side of that vehicle. He should be okay, but damage is not looking to hinder some of these drivers too bad. I'm kind of shocked that they're going to be able to keep up at least the same amount of speed.
No, the damage is not going to affect you too bad. I think the biggest thing these guys are going to have to worry about with damage-wise is just making sure the engine's getting the right cooling. That's one thing when they come around here. They're just going to be watching those temps if you got a little damage on the nose, and it's not going to have a major effect. It will affect the race car due to we are carrying somewhat decent speeds here. We're hitting 130, 140 on entry there and not dropping below that 100-mile-an-hour point through the center of these corners. So you're still carrying a good bit of speed, so you do use aerodynamics here definitely, but very limited at that point with the speed we're carrying. So, as we see McCoy already up the 2nd now, he's going to see if he can track down Offerman. My thing is, Robert, my question is now as we're looking at Wade there and now up to McCoy, Offerman, does he think he needs to win this race? Because he was in a very interesting position entering tonight. From where he was only 10 points out compared to Timmy McNally. I don't think he was in a must-win spot. We'll see if he pushes to that extent, or does he, is he satisfied with getting 2nd and thinking that gets him in? That's going to be the big question I think we've got to ask ourselves.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I was Offerman, you're always going to want to go for a win, I do believe, Zach. You're a driver and you're going to want to go for that win. But with the points, I don't think he has to really worry about if he doesn't get the win. Because, being Timmy here is just going to finish, down in 27th position. So that he gained his points. So a win is, he don't need a win, but a win is nice just to get a win in the season. You know what I mean? And that's what we all drive for. Now, before I throw it back over to you, Zach, I want to ask all the fans out there on YouTube, let me know. This is the first time I've been up in the booth broadcasting with the new audio system that I got set up. I need to know if my microphone's too loud or if it's too quiet, so I know where to adjust it and put it. So if you don't mind giving me a little bit of input and feedback, I do much appreciate it. But all right, back to the race there. As we looks like we got about 25 laps to go here. These guys are not going to make any pit stops. They're going to run it out. No need to make a pit stop. Even if a yellow comes out, Zach, I mean, you don't need to make a pit stop. I think track position is more important than tires as of right now.
Yeah, it matters how many people pit, of course. 14 people on the lead lap, I may consider it. That's not that far. And we've seen what Travis Butt was able to do starting back in the 20s. He drove all the way to the lead. It did take a considerable amount of time, but that was much more cars. And you can see here, this battle heating up. Wade really needing the points here tonight. He's had a good, solid run nonetheless. He's dropping back a few positions, but I still think he's in a good spot to go through to the next round with McNally having his issues, and also with Medlin and King Campbell not really having too great of nights also. So I think he's in a good spot here. Is now Holland up to 4th, Bowling back up to 5th. These two have been having a great battle here. Both ran really good at Atlanta, showing again speed here again at Bristol.
showing the speed consistency as we get ready to go next week into our 2 rounds of the top 8, I do believe, correct?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, 2 rounds. Yeah, so I mean, it's the same scenario what these guys just did here in the first round as Atlanta and Bristol, and then we're going to go to Darlington and Auto Club. Now, that is 2 different tracks. It's amazing how the league set that up there, Zach. I mean, that is 2 totally different tracks because Darlington is that's a tough track. As we got a yellow out 5th caution there, Zach. As it looks like it's going to be Max Ward involved into this one. We'll see what happened to him here on the Freaky Fast replay.
You'll have to see exactly what happened there. And while all that happened, Robert, McCoy took the lead here. As you can see, here is that 59 machine going down into the turn here. See exactly what happened here. Coming off the exit. There's the 209. There's the 23, Dylan Grimm. Oh, a little contact from Dylan Grimm to the 59 and Max Ward. That's going to send him around right in front of the field, and that's going to bring out a caution late to go. And now the question is, do you pit? I mean, if you have a set of tires, I think you're going to see a few guys do it.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of laps that are left here, Zach, we got 20 to go. And like you said, we seen what Butts did in that 00 machine on new tires, how he flew through the field. So it's looking like, yeah, I mean, we got takers. Everybody's taking here, except for Mike Lynch and Travis Butt are not pitting. Now, Travis Butt did pit on lap 140, so we'll have to see. Oh, Mike Lynch is now coming in. Sorry, we got 2 different pit roads. It's confusing on the ticker, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, definitely confusing on those pit roads there, but
yeah.
Lynch gonna hit pit road for their Robert, but I think Butt he's gonna be the one to stay out there. That's also not gonna let anybody get the wave around that was behind him, so that's gonna be for them. But man, oh man, McCoy, I think that was the right call on his spot, and he also took his fast repair there, Robert. He's got a clean race car on that 7 machine, so now he's gonna have that. And I tell you, he took the lead literally right as the caution came out. That couldn't have been a better time one for him.
Same for Kyle. Kyle went in down and he got his fast repair for fresh tires, so he's got a clean car here. Looking into the top 6 here, it looks like Patrick right there. His car's pretty clean. Nick Hollins, we know he's got a pretty clean car. Eric Offerman's got a pretty clean car. And as you said here, Kyle went down and got a clean car. Aaron Hale, he's got a pretty good clean car. Travis Butt looks like he's got a pretty clean car. So you're looking at the top 7 right now with a clean car. Basically, bottom line with this is, ladies and gentlemen, is that they got a clean car, and it's like starting a race at the beginning. You know, except it's going to be 17 laps to go. When we go back to green, it's going to be 16 laps to go. And I got a funny feeling the playoff drivers, if you know you got to win or you got to try to get the points, these guys are going to start pushing his act to try to get the maximum points that they need. I mean, I got a funny feeling where this is going to get, like you like to say, spicy. Get ready to go back green here, ladies and gentlemen, with Stars and Stripes Racing Series here, Thursday night's Xfinity Series. And green flag is out. Off we go. Let's race it, boys. Fight for a championship.
Oh, and Butt slides up the racetrack already. McCoy by him. Then the 4. Big run from Aaron Hale here. He goes down to the inside of the 00 as he's going to make the pass. I think he made a pit stop after at least Travis Butt, because his tires looking very much used. There goes Holland up to the top 3 now, late to go, and 15 to go. Roberts, Kyle McCoy out front here. Those tires already showing the pace they have.
Oh yeah, as you can see, Derek. Look at Derek. We got Patrick going around.
Patrick Hasty in the 9 machine going around after such a good run, and I think he just lost the rear end there, and that was unfortunate for Patrick, as that is going to bring out our 6th caution of the night. And man, oh man, Robert, what a wild wreck there is Scott Ricker there, as we're showing on the screen. At 0.5, he's involved in this. He finally got back on the lead lap, but I believe he's already possibly used a fast repair. That car looks very much like it's very much out of tow, and he may have some big issues as, wow, what a crazy caution here at the end after McCoy just getting back out to the lead. Hell's going to hold on a second with Holland there in the third position as we've had more and more carnage here, and we'll see the replay for that caution here. 6th of the night, and Hasty here going to lose the rear end, and it's going to go around, and that's going to be a major incident here with multiple cars involved. You see there's Scott Ricker, there's Dylan Glass, there's the 209 as the Metcalf just getting through. So multiple cars there involved, and the 47 coming in late there with a heavy hit for Josh Warner. But man, oh man, what a crazy race this is. But I'm glad to inform everybody we got Sam Dyer back up here, buddy. Good to have you back up here, man.
Yeah, I missed a couple of more wrecks that came in, and was tallying up the score, figuring out where drivers lie. And because of where the drivers are currently, looking at that the final two positions, if they can be gained, for that of Chris Wade, because of Timmy McNally, where he wrecks and where everyone is currently, looks like the 53 has a chance to be moving on to the next round. As well for Derek Offerman. Offerman, all he needs to do, finish in the top 13. The 20 is moving on to the next round, but it looks like with Andrew Medlin and Ken Campbell, with being multiple laps down where they lie, most likely not going to be able to move on. But man, it has been a slicing and dicing, and everyone just moving around where they are. But up front, Kyle McCoy, Aaron Hale, Nick Holland, Derek Offerman, Travis Butt, your top 5. And man, Zach, I don't know how the end of this race is going to go. Coming to 10 laps to go when we go green.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting here because, we just had an interesting restart there with Butt starting out front with those old tires, but also Hale here, he stayed out during that caution, but he has a little bit fresher tires than that, and he was able to hold pretty well there with the 7. Let's see if he can produce something here, maybe to let go. And also Offerman was so fast, same with Holland. McCoy's got that win in his back pocket. He's locked in, so he's going to be out here full sitting all the way down to the end of this thing. But you got to think, if you're Derek Offerman in that 4th spot, he is just looking to get to the end here. He probably doesn't know as much about the position he is in right now, but he's got to have a pretty good clue. The guys that he was racing for those spots, they are way down the lineup while he's going way up. He's got to feel good where he's sitting now.
And also for Offerman, still has a fast repair if needed. So the 20 still has that safety net under him. As the pace car lights are off, big thanks to Rob Moore for covering for me. As the pace car is off, we're green. 9 laps to go, and Kyle McCoy trying to get another win under his belt. He won last week in Atlanta, trying to sweep all the races for the round of 12. But Aaron Hale, a driver up 23 positions from where he started, in 2nd place, trying to get his first win of the season for the 4, as they're still side-by-side racing for 4th position.
8 to go, everything to lose for a lot of these drivers. Bolin now up to the top 4. He's around Nick Holland. He's been super quick tonight. See if he can make a move on Offerman. We'll see how defensive Offerman is. He's in a really good spot. Doesn't need anything to lose here. Just needs to bring it home. But I'm sure he wants to get himself a nice top 3 to end out this round.
7 coming to 6 laps to go. And the driver that's on the freshest tires is going to be Scott Rickard. But he's back at 9th. And I don't think with 6 laps to go, he's going to have enough time to try to catch up to the 7 to Kyle McCoy. But still a lot of work needs to be done, and a lot of the drivers that are up front for the 20 of Derek Offerman, as the laps tick away, it doesn't matter if he's got a safety net or not. He has to finish in the top 13 to move on to the round of 8 and make sure he continues with a hope for a championship for the 20.
We're looking back here. This is great racing going on as Rickard tries to get it done on glass, but those new tires not as new as he probably wished they were compared to the rest of the field. He's still trying to get through as he was just involved in that last wreck and was luckily had a fast repair, but 4 to go. McCoy looking good out front. Offerman is the one that is looking to make it in now.
Riding on board with the 05, getting his perspective of trying to get by glass, just not able to do so. 3 laps to go, coming in 2 laps to go, and it's all Kyle McCoy up front. The 7 coming in 2 laps to go. Zach, wow, this is incredible to watch as Kyle McCoy looking to sweep the round of 12 with wins.
What a statement it would be, Sam, to get a win at Atlanta, get a win here at Bristol. Next week, we'll see what he can do at Darlington, but he's going to have the white flag.
It's your Freaky Fast one to go. If you'd like to sponsor the one to go position, message us on all of our social medias. But it's Kyle McCoy over 7/10 of a second ahead of Aaron Hale. A little bit of lap traffic coming through 3 and 4. It doesn't matter. Kyle McCoy wins again for the 7 and sweeps the round of 12, winning in Atlanta last week and winning here at Bristol. And now it's time for us to all grab our calculators, tally up the map, and figure out who are the 8 drivers moving on to the next round.
What a job by McCoy. What a job by Hale. What a job by Offerman. Also, he's going to go on to the playoffs. Same with Christopher Wade, it seems like. Hopefully, if our math is doing us justice. But McCoy, winning Atlanta last week, comes here to Bristol and puts on a clinic here tonight. Looks so strong. Man, I tell you what, he's starting to make himself look like the guy to be.
I mean, Kyle McCoy, you look at the 7, and, you know, this is season 3 of the Stars and Stripes. Season 1, they ran the ARCA cars. Season 2, they ran the trucks. And here for season 3, they switched it up again and went to the Xfinity cars. And I got to say, for the season 1 champ, that being Kyle McCoy, he is going right back to that ARCA series form here in the Xfinity cars, which, you know, to not really surprised. I mean, you think of the ARCA cars, you think of the Xfinity cars, both heavily about that throttle control. That's why we're seeing the 7 really finding his form here. But after tonight, his being locked in, feeling safe, moving on to the next round. Yes, he's going to the round of 8, but once that next race starts, yeah, all the points get reset, and you're right back to fighting for everything you can get.
Yeah, reset here for sure, as he's going to go to the finish line and celebrate here. But it's all going to be reset for sure now. So he's going to have to bring all this momentum into Darlington Auto Club if he wants to have a shot to get to that championship race. McCoy, though, on a solid start to those playoffs.
It certainly is. Well, Kyle McCoy blew up his engine, but for us at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, the night's not over. We still get to interview our top 3, that being Kyle McCoy, Aaron Hale, and Derek Offerman. Stick with us. It's the Freaky Fast post-race show for the Stars and Stripes here, finishing out the round of 12. We'll be right back in just a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the end of the round of 12 for the Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series, finishing out here at Bristol. Before we get to our interviews, huge thanks to that at McConey Setup Shop. McConey Setup Shop, they're our setups, but they're your victories. If you'd like to get the setups from McConey Setup Shop, anything from Legends up to Cup cars, even got a mix of dirt vehicles as well here on iRacing, go to McConey Setup Shop. They've got the best out there. And when you're getting those setups, use the promo code FFB10 to get 10% off. Or if you'd like to get coached by some of the best out there, go to McConeySetupShop.com/coaching. Coaching from anybody from the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series drivers, such as Zach Novak, Jimmy Mullis from the Richmond Speedway esports team, or anyone else that's a part of the Makoni Setup Shop crew. Get coached from some of the best. It's only $25 an hour. Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but they're your victories. Well, it's time to get to our top three. It's Derek Offerman. We're going to start things off. Our third place runner is the 20 that we bring up into the booth as we get that of Derek Offerman in here. The 20. Derek, what a race. The pressure was on. You came in 10th in points, needing to get a solid day, and the drivers that you were hunting to get good finishes from, they had poor finishes, and it looks like you're moving on to the round of 8.
Awesome. Yeah, I was a little scared there. When that first caution came out, I was like, I got to try something, and it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, Derek, the pressure was on, but man, it was crazy to see you as well as we got to see that of Travis deciding to pit early in that first caution that came out around lap 30-31, came into pit road, took tires, then we had a long green flag run. Give us your thoughts of cutting through lap traffic when it was chaotic for us up in the booth. I could not imagine how it was for like for you up in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it was crazy. It definitely helped having, Travis out as my fullback there. He was kind of making some holes, and I was just going wherever he went. And then he kind of just got a little ahead of me and just took off there. And at that point, I was just being patient and just waiting for things to open up.
Well, Derek, it's looking like, I'm looking at the math, calculating it, you should be good to be moving on.
Nice.
And the next race is going to be that of Darlington and Auto Club for the round of 8
Yeah.
before that championship race. How are you feeling about those next 2 races?
Darlington's tough. It really is. It's probably one of my tougher tracks, but I think we'll be all right. You definitely got to save tires there. We're going to have a throwback paint scheme night, so we'll have some cool cars. Should be a fun race, though.
Well, Derek, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, shout out to my mom and dad, and to you guys. You guys seriously have been such a great team this year. Thank you so much for doing these broadcasts, and thank you for doing such a great job. We really appreciate it, you guys.
Well, Derek, thanks for giving us that, but you guys put on the real show on the track. We just get to call what we see. As that's Derek Offerman moving on to the round of 8. Good luck at Darlington, and congratulations on a top 3 finish here tonight.
Guys, we'll see you next week.
And now we move on to the driver that finishes in 2nd, Aaron Hale, who has not won yet, but what a run for this 4 team. Aaron, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Sam.
Well, Aaron, another solid run for yourself this year. You just missed out on making the playoffs, a non-playoff driver, but man, give us your point of view of tonight's race that seemed like it was a chaotic mess there in those final 100 laps.
Yeah, man, that race was just crazy. I was just, garbage right away. I felt like I was down a cylinder or something. Everybody's running away from me. I about went a lap down there on the first run, and then once the tires got older, I just started to, get in a groove and was able to work the bottom there and start working my way up through the field. And I was sitting really well on that long green flag run. And then once I had tracked it, I started dropping back on one of those restarts there. But then on that final pit stop, it's like everybody waited to pit until a lap later, and I was on the backstretch, so I came into pit and was able to cycle in front of them. So that really set me up in good shape for the final run to the end. And then I really had to push it harder than I had all night.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron, you're one of the few drivers that came in only twice tonight. How hard was it trying to decide when you wanted to come into pit road?
Yeah, I mean, you're out there, and especially on that long run, everybody was just flying by you, and you're like, man, I really want those new tires, but I didn't feel like it was worth the risk, of potentially being caught a lap down like a bunch of them did. And I ultimately did end up going a lap down. Travis, I think he was involved in that first wreck, and then he had some fresh tires. Was able to put me a lap down, but I was a lucky dog there under that caution. But yeah, it was definitely a handful, and you had to change up how you drove the car quite a bit throughout the run.
Well, Aaron, there's only 3 more races to go the rest of this season. You've come up just shy a couple of times here this season, still looking for your first win. Do you feel like these next 3 races, Darlington, Auto Club, and Homestead, one of them you could get a win at?
Man, I hope so. It's a bummer I'm not in the playoffs, kind of just fighting for best of the rest. But all 3 of those tracks are really tracks that I enjoy. Darlington's a really tough track. Have to work the high side, and then Auto Club with the multiple lanes and Homestead as well. So I'm really looking forward to the last 3, and hopefully we can get that first win here before the year wraps up.
Well, we're going to be rooting for you, Aaron, but before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out, first of all, to my wife who lets me carve out some time to come down here to the basement and hang out with you guys every Thursday night. And then just all the guys at Revolution Motorsports, Max, Jason, Nate, and everybody else who puts on the league, and then you guys who put on a great broadcast every week. Something I really enjoy watching later on in the week.
Well, Aaron, top 2 finish. Congratulations on that, and good luck next week at Darlington.
Thanks. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Aaron Hale finishing 2nd place, and now we head to Victory Lane where we bring in Kyle McCoy, winning again. Kyle, you win again. You sweep the round of 12, winning at Atlanta, and now winning at Bristol. What magic did you have to somehow survive all the carnage that was around you and just survive tonight for 200 laps?
That's a great question. I have no idea how I ended up here. At one run, just kind of drove the bottom where everybody wasn't and got back to the front. But I mean, it was mayhem for that last 60 laps. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I mean, Bristol's so much fun, and I loved racing it. And yeah, and I'm excited. I'm speechless. So.
Well, you swept the round. You won at Atlanta. Now you win here. You're the driver that has the most momentum, but we're heading now to Darlington and Auto Club. How are you feeling about those next tracks?
I hate to break it to you guys, but I'm confident right now. Darlington, I love Darlington. Auto Club, maybe not so much. That's not really in my wheelhouse, but I'm super excited for Darlington. I'm hoping to go and have a strong run there and give myself a good route into the championship 4 there from Auto Club, because that one's a little bit of a wild card. You got a big track with lots of lanes and different ways that people can manipulate strategy. So we're going to go and focus on Darlington and see if we can lock ourselves in right off the bat. So yeah, I'm excited right now. Those are 2 pretty different track types to win on in a row. I know there's a bunch of guys licking their chops ready to come get me. So I'm ready for it.
I mean, Kyle, we looked back at previous championship winners. You won the first season in the ARCA series for the Stars and Stripes. How are you feeling about the Xfinity cars and the ARCA? I mean, are they feeling similar? And also, does the playoffs feel similar to that first season for yourself?
That's a good question. I feel like the playoffs honestly feel better just because I love the tracks. I don't feel great about Homestead being the championship 4, but I really feel good about getting there. So we're just gonna put in the work. Yeah, I feel like when you get to the playoffs, there's a switch you gotta throw. And luckily enough, I got there. I think this was more of a little bit of having some speed and get some random luck along the way, because I got wrecked in the middle of this thing and really shouldn't have got my way back, but got lucky. And really the key was, I mean, my teammates, we put a lot of work into this, but just learning how to run the bottom. Travis Butt, he gave us some huge pointers on it, and I kind of knew in the back of my mind that if you knew how to pass on the bottom, it would really benefit your overall race. So that's what I worked on, and found some speed there throughout the race, and luckily kind of ended up here. So I love the way the round shapes up for us. Like the fact that we padded ourselves some more playoff points. I wish if I couldn't have won it, I wish Derek would have got it, because I mean, he was so fast and he played the strategy, I mean, to perfection. But yeah, that last stretch racing with him, I hope it was exciting, because it was really fun and I was pushing my guts out trying to get there. So a lot of fun racing. I'm looking forward to more of the same at Darlington.
An older night, incredible for us up in the booth, and for you, it has to be feeling great being in Victory Lane. And since you're here, we got to give you the floor. The floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my teammates, Cyclo Motorsports. We swept the round. I know it was me, but I couldn't have done it without them. Travis, Brian, and Josh, I mean, they're working their butts off, and it's fun to come in there and learn that stuff with them. We made some huge progress. I kind of learned how to run the bottom on Tuesday night, and it really, really, really paid off here. So shout out to my teammates. They're the best in the biz. Shout out to you guys for putting the broadcast on. I hope we put on a good show. This felt like a pretty good Bristol race, all things considered. We didn't we didn't wreck up the field the whole time, which was nice. That long run was crazy. So yeah, shout out to you guys for putting on a great broadcast. It's really high quality. And shout out to Nate and Derek for putting on the lead. Like I said, I wish Derek could have gotten this one. But I had to race him for it. It's Bristol, right?
Oh, absolutely. And luckily for Derek, yes, he didn't win, but based on where the drivers lie, it looks like the 20 going to be moving on to the next round, which Kyle, next round points get reset. And we'll see how you can fray. Again, it's Darlington Auto Club that we are going to. But before we let you go, Kyle, thank you for joining us. And good luck with next week. And congratulations on this win.
Thank you, boys. Looking forward to Darlington. We'll see you next week.
That's Kyle McCoy, victor tonight, and he is going to have to figure out how to hold off the rest of the pack going into next week. Kyle I can't believe he is absolutely doing what he's doing for that of Kyle McCoy. But Zach, we get to look at the rest of the results where you see a lot of happy drivers and where they're live, but at the same time, there's a lot of drivers that are going to be frustrated after tonight with seeing their playoff hopes being snuffed out. Starting off with Kyle McCoy winning here, Aaron Hale going to be in second, Derek Offerman with the struggles of Mike Watts as well as Timmy McNally. The 20 moving on to the next round, that of Nick Holland going to be getting fourth, Kyle Bowen going to get fifth, Chris Wade, who just needed to be 3 positions ahead of Timmy McNally, easily did that, and he'll be taking that 7th place position in points. Trey Jackson in 7th. 8th goes to Scott Rickard. Patrick Hasty, 9th place finish for the 9 machine. And Dylan Glass going to get 10th as it continues to drop down. You look at where some of the other drivers lie throughout here, and I gotta say, Zach, this was a very fun race for us to cover. Intense moments. The big ones happen of gridlock, but overall, got to be feeling frustrated and sad seeing that of Ken Campbell as well as Andrew Medlin really not having a shot after the long green flag run. They came into pit road early, then the caution came out, and then they got trapped 2 laps down and never had a chance to recover.
Yeah, that is the thing about Bristol, man. You got to time your pit stops right, and unfortunately for those two, they did not. And like you said, it's kind of heartbreaking and unfortunate that they weren't able to be there last week to give themselves a better shot. Because when you have such a big uphill battle to climb like they had right there, that it puts a lot of nerves on yourself, and you kind of start thinking outside the box, and sometimes that can make you do the wrong decision. And unfortunate for them, but they'll bounce back. Definitely great drivers there. But the guys, another one I just feel really heartbroken for is McNally. He was running top 3 there from a good portion of that early start of this race, and just again the untimely caution there gets caught in a wreck, and that is going to brings out the yellow, and he just ends up pulling out of the race from there. So just an unfortunate incident there for the 88, and other guys taking advantage of Offerman. You got to give him credit. What a perfect strategy, like Kyle McCoy said there. It's just one of them nights where Bristol is just such a hard cookie to crack, and man, some guys got it figured out, and some guys are going to go home saying, I couldn't have done no better.
And the drivers that are going to continue on in the playoffs, that top of the board, Kyle McCoy, Travis Butt, Nick Holland, Kyle Boyling, Scott Rickard, Dylan Grimm, and the 2 drivers that could not make it in, that being Mike Watts, Timmy McNally. They got bumped out of the top 8 and taking their spots, Chris Wade and Derek Offerman. And the 2 other drivers that will not be moving on being Andrew Medlin and Ken Campbell. Zach, you came in at the end of the regular season. You got to see the first round of the playoffs. We're now heading to Darlington for the round of 8. How are you feeling about next week and everything being reset? And again, you got to be perfect for 2 laps to figure out if you've got a shot to race at Homestead for a championship.
Yeah, Darlington and Auto Club. First up, you got Darlington. Back to back with Bristol there. That is just a tough feat in itself. But Darlington is going to be the place where we're going to see a few select drivers, I think, struggle possibly. That's a place where some guys just can't figure it out, and I think it may hinder a few, and then you'll see the one shining bright star usually at Darlington. It's usually how it works. One guy's just got it figured out. We'll see who has that figured out. But Auto Club, I think Kyle McCoy even alluded to it in a little bit of his interview. He talked about how it's kind of more of a wild card, and I kind of agree with that. That track is going to be a little bit more, not pack racing especially with this Xfinity car, but more spread out and just, overall guys 3, 4 wide going down into 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 because just the lanes there. Darlington is going to be much more single groove and kind of racing your own race type of deal. But I can't wait, Sam. I've had such a fun time going up here on Thursdays, and it's only getting better each week here as we build up to crowning a champion.
Yeah, the lights set at the start of the broadcast. The lights were out, the stage was set, and the last great Coliseum delivered on amazing racing action. 2 drivers that came into the night thought they could make it to the next round, getting bumped out. 2 drivers that were looking outside and needed a perfect night. They got it. They're going in. 8 drivers now are left to battle for a championship. 3 races to see who gets it done. But the next 2 races, we get to see who the 4 drivers that get to race at Homestead. Cannot wait for it. Big thanks for Zach Hall joining me up in the booth here tonight, and for Robert Moyer stepping in late to cover for me. But man, tonight was an amazing night. The Stars and Stripes Xfinity Series delivered. But for us to finish out our broadcast, we got to set it up to the man who always finishes out our calls here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, Robert Moyer, to finish out the call.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Great calling. Thank you, Zach. Great calling. Man, oh, man. The Great Coliseum, man. It was great tonight to see the battling. Long green flag run. Guys battling side by side. Every position counted. Like Sam said, 2 were trying to make it in, didn't make it in. 2 were trying to fight to stay in, didn't stay in. And 2 made it in. It was just chaos, just trying to keep up with everything. It was just awesome racing, and especially that long green flag run where we had the leaders getting up to 7th, 8th, 9th position, trying to battle, trying to figure out where they wanted to go, how they wanted to get around the track. I'm telling you, it was just awesome, awesome racing here. So, and I also want to say thank you, all the fans out there on YouTube. You are awesome too. Thank you for tuning in here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with the Stars and Stripes and all the other leagues that we do throughout the week, as we are busy every single night here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with a lot of action coming and more action coming in the future and a lot more stuff coming in the future here, as it's all because of the league drivers and the leagues and you fans out there for the support. So if you enjoyed this content, you're coming back and watching the replay of this race, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if this is your first time here, or if not your first time here and you've been here, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. It helps the league out. Hit that thumbs up and also hit that share button, and you can share it to your favorite social media platform of your choosing. Doesn't matter to us. Just make sure you share it out there and get the word out there about Stars and Stripes and Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But like Sam said and Zach said, next week, Darlington, same time, same place, 9:20. Get ready. It's going to be fun. Tough track. And it's going to be a throwback weekend, too. So we're going to see some nice-looking paint schemes out there. So make sure you tune in to root on your favorite driver or your favorite paint scheme or whatever it would be. But make sure you check that out next week at 9:20. And it's going to be awesome. But our next televised broadcast will be Saturday night with NISCC Cup Series with Brandon and Sam Dyer calling all the action as they get ready for round number 2 with them guys. And we go live at 8:50 with that. So we got action-packed racing all weekend as we head into Sunday night with Sim Racing Unleashed. We'll be with them guys there at 7:50 on Sunday. So we have action-packed racing here on the weekends and throughout the week, like I said. But other than that, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Zach. We're about ready to sign off here from the virtual side of things of Bristol. And last but not least, what we want to say here at Freaky Fest to everybody out there, please have a safe Friday. Don't work too hard. But until Saturday night, we want to say God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.